Hello everyone.
Hello. Hi, Varun.
Hi Lauren.
Mm.
I think that there are participants. So I can see. So everybody, myself Varun Patel, and I have Lauren Laplante. So we represent Spokes Digital. So let's introduce ourselves if it is possible, so that we can get to know each other quickly, and then we can proceed with the topic.
So, Varun, I'll introduce myself. I'm Lauren Laplante. I'm the Chief Growth Officer here at Spokes Digital, and I want to thank everyone for participating and listening in on our webinar. As I speak, I hope everyone is safe and healthy in their location. I'm right here in my home in Massachusetts and on lockdown. So quite a time for everyone. So thank you for joining.
I can't hear it.
Thanks, Lauren, for the introduction. So myself Varun Patel. I represent Spokes as the CEO of the company, and we started Spokes for 3 years back, and Spokes specifically focuses on the cannabis industry, uh, and we have been working in various industries like cannabis, in CBD, hemp, and today we will talk from our experience, and we will try to share as much knowledge as we can that it may help you guys to maybe strategize your business accordingly. So we can wait for more 3 minutes. Maybe we can start by 10:35. I can see that there are more people joining, and so we'll give some time. So if anyone wants to introduce themselves, they're most welcome. Please do that. Uh, it will be good to know each other. I see someone is, I think, trying to speak CBD effects. May I know who is there from the CBD effects side? So please check your speakers if they're on mute. We have to unmute so that we can I speak. Sometimes I think we have to just unmute it. So I'll share my screen so that we can start by 10:35. So we have 1 more minute to go. All right, everybody. So let's start with the presentation because we are at 10:35 and um, we have we have taken 40 minutes for the presentation and we have almost 15 minutes for the Q&A. So it will leave some time for us to discuss more about what we will discuss in these 40 minutes. So this first slide, this is intentionally blank. So this is something to kick off the presentation. So I would like to start from giving you guys a little background. Like if you look at the yesterday's customer. So if you look at yesterday's customers, for example, we are, for example, it's for the people in the West Coast, it might be 10 o'clock in the morning. And when we move towards lunch, when we look at the normal situations before COVID-19, we can assume ourselves like being in a restaurant where we used to have setup like that where we are having our lunch and discussing. So we can assume that how this setup was. But if you look at the today's customer, that is the highly evolved species. And if you can look at that how, for example, in the second side, you can see today's customer who is just evolving over a period of time, who not only has the food but also shares it on their social channels. Maybe it dissects more, maybe it analyzes more, and it shares more with their friends. So it's like we can see ourselves at how which species we are, yesterday's or today's customer. So today's customer is more evolved, and we have to have the complete control over what actions we want him to have. So this is something that we always strive for in the 21st century advertising on the online, where online is the best medium for us to speak out, to advertise. So if you look at the exclusive customer 21st century, like we as a company, we as a business know like social channels of these customers, maybe email IDs, maybe customer visits on the websites, maybe going into the blogs, and there are endless channels where you can find those customers. And especially when we have these smartphones that have evolved, maybe here like 90% people who are using mobile phones to browse through web and browse through all these channels. So this is very confusing for us to maybe to deliver a message where we want customer to take some proper action that you want them to take. So we have to always, a kind of maybe situation where we want to see that what is something we want to deliver, what is something we want to say to the customers across the channels, what is something that we can communicate as a company. So this is a challenge, and when we talk about business expectations from the customers, we have a communication that is like what we communicate to the customers, and we want customers to follow the IDA that we want them to follow. And that is like how to create these attention, interest, and the desire for the customer to click on your ads or to come.
The guy yesterday on the phone. Like what? Oh God, can't hear me. Oh shit.
Does someone want to ask something? Okay. Yeah, so if anyone is not asking, please keep yourself on mute so that we can progress to the webinar. So I was talking about that how you manage your IDA so that you want your customer to take the desired action on your communication, on your content that you put across the internet. And this is forward challenge for us. So so the next slide, next slides would be talking about more that what are the strategies we use, how to capture the opportunities that are there for us as a business, and how to leverage additional marketing as a platform, and how can we increase our business using those techniques, and especially in this market like COVID-19, how important it is for us to build our additional marketing strategy in that way. So I would like Lauren to take over from here and maybe discuss with you guys some slides, then I will take over again.
Thanks, Varun. Yeah, so I want to give a little background, as Varun did, from my perspective. You know, who is Spokes? Who is Spokes Digital? Varun started this company as a digital marketing agency about 7 or 8 years ago. And just about 3 years ago, made the very deliberate decision to focus the digital marketing only in the cannabis and CBD product space. And one of the reasons for that decision was just enjoyed the challenge of the industry. And of course, we saw that there was a lot of opportunity. It was very exciting to get into an industry that's, for the most part, fledgling, right? But we want it to be, it's going to position, we want to be right there on the ground floor, positioning it for growth. So just wanted to say why we're offering this seminar. We had wanted to start giving these webinars on a regular basis, and we had been preparing these messaging, and then COVID-19 happened. So we want to share with you our agenda today is just talk about the specifics of digital marketing and some techniques that we found have worked very well in the cannabis and CBD industry, and then talk about success stories that we've had with clients. So maybe you can relate to some of these clients that we're going to talk about. And then specifically, we're going to discuss how to position your business to quickly respond to the markets. And of course, we'll give examples on that. And we'll go to best practices and then Q&A. Okay, so let's talk about the here and now, what's going on. I mean, everybody, we're all in this together, as they say, right? So if you're in the cannabis and CBD product industry, you're being impacted. Everyone is being impacted by what's going on with the COVID-19, the lockdown mandates. So just some highlights here of what happened, say 3 weeks ago. This is data that we gleaned from March 26th. So average store revenue is way up. The new users ordering online and also existing users have increased. Then in the beverages and edibles area, especially out in California, we've seen an uptick there. And the point of this messaging here is that there's spikes in different areas of the market around cannabis and CBD products. So I wanted to share with you a quote from a digital marketing perspective. So this gentleman says, there are two types of customers that exist in this world and must be satisfied. The target audience of one and the advertiser. Without either of these two are sunk before we even leave port. So what does this mean? So we're talking about from a digital marketing service provider perspective, we have our customer who is the business, the advertiser, and then we're helping that business to reach out to their audience, their target audience. So there's two customers there. Then there's another layer over top of that. Those customers, go ahead. We have the digital marketing drivers. So then there's other pieces that we have to pay attention to as digital marketers, and especially in this cannabis and CBD product space, you have the legislation that's state by state. You have advertising restrictions, and then the technology. So here in the U.S., in each state, as you know, from a cannabis perspective, each state has their own views of cannabis. So some are fully legal in terms of medicinal marijuana as well as retail marijuana, and then others is, cannabis isn't legal at all. So each state obviously has different regulations, different advertising that's allowed. So when we work with the clients, we focus on, that state. So we have to stay on top of each state's regulations. For example, in California, in Florida, New York. So in Florida and New York, it's just the medicinal marijuana that's legal right now. So there we work with folks who have delivery services, the dispensaries that have some online ordering. And then in California, the market is a little bit more open, in other states as well, the West Coast, Washington and Oregon, for example. And again, talking about the advertising legislation, so there's just staying on top of what's allowed, what language is allowed, what images are allowed, and then what's not allowed. And that's constantly changing. So it becomes a gray area, that red area in the middle of those intersection of those circles with the question mark. That's the gray area that gray area is constantly moving. And it's also moving within each state. So for example, California, New York. So we stay on top of all of that, on a 24/7 basis for our clients. So I wanted to get over to Varun.
Yeah. So as Lauren was talking about from the legislation point of view, and then the next thing I see in terms of very important piece for having a digital marketing for cannabis is like being on top of the technology. So we have seen like Web 2.0, then we have progressed to Web 3.0 and Web 4.0, and now we are talking about Web 5.0. So basically, it will keep changing, but we have to constantly upgrade ourselves as we move from these versions. And because customer is also evolving and they are adopting the web and they are constantly browsing through, they're constantly comparing competition, they're constantly looking for a better experience, and they're looking for better kind of, for example, if you look at the current engagement time, that we get hardly 3 to 4 seconds to engage a customer. And if we lose the customer attention between this, we will of course lose the customer. So and it is not only like one time, it will not return as well. So we have to be on top of the technology. For example, the first thing talk about like smart content marketing. So this is more about like how can you customize, how can you customize the experience for the website, for example, from the gender perspective, from the age group perspective. So there's a lot of technology that we can use to customize the whole experience for the customer. We can create a semantic web, and in like this is something where we can use a lot of things like JavaScripts. We can use a lot of APIs, and we can create like a wholesome experience for a customer. It's not that you have to develop everything. You can use the APIs to develop your own maybe platform and create your own kind of channel that will be equal to, like, for example, I know you can't build Amazon. I know that something is impossible, but you can also create some experience that may not be lesser than Amazon, but you should know how to do that properly. AMP pages is all about like how to increase the mobile experience, because 70 to 80% traffic that comes to websites is from mobile, and 90% people in the US, they own a mobile. So we have to have the faster loading experience for the user in the mobile. That is all about accelerated mobile pages for the mobile. So 4.0 is the next version for 3.0. That is like extension of the like devices. Like, for example, there's a Apple Watch. There are wearable technologies that are there. So there's a location-based intelligence that was not there earlier. You can specifically target a customer in a particular state, city, or maybe you can in a particular location, IP addresses. You can target customers by their IP address as well. There's like pinpointing each and every customer by their IPs. So this is very focused location-based intelligence that is available now to advertise. Voice processing is there now. We can use the voice searches that is we can use, and we have to be ready that our platform is looking into the searches, is appearing on the searches on the voice processing. So everything is keep moving, and then there's a Web 5.0 that maybe there may be next 1 year. That is like emotional web. So there was disconnect between the web and the human experience. That is something that was there, but now I think we as a technologists are working on the next level, that is like emotional web, how to create more emotional, how to make it more emotional as and give a human experience rather than a very technical experience. So next we'll talk about the digital marketing techniques that we can use for the cannabis, CBD and hemp advertising. I think we all know about the techniques that we are mentioning over here. There's nothing new about it. We will just give you some flavor from the industry perspective. So SEO and local SEO is very important, and content creation is very important, and SEM campaigns, then the affiliate networking, influencer marketing, email marketing, everything here is very specific to the industry. So let's go to the next slide and see how can we use the best practices that we are seeing here to improve the IDA. So the constant challenge for us as a business is to improve the experience for the customer, to optimize the IDA, and how we can do it by improving the factors that are mentioned here, like how can we reduce the bounce rate for the website, and that can be possible if we have a minimal scroll or a single page scroll, and how to increase the page views by 96%. So that is again possible if you have first page served, if you are in the top 5 and or maybe in the top 10, and maybe if you have major customer testimonials, then we can build a trust between the customers. And the next thing is that how can we engage a customer, grab the attention of the customer in initial 3 to 4 seconds when he engages with our website or engages with our technical or digital content. So the digital marketing dependencies that we have. So dependencies, Google rules the web in that way, and we can say by smartphones or by the web, both are ruled by the Google. If you look at the user activities in terms of in the web activities, internet has the 89% users come to internet for the search, and 81% of the people who come to who want to buy a product make a research before buying a product. And in the US, there are 312 million users who are internet users. More than 230 million users are smartphone users, and more than 90% people, they deploy a web or phone for a product research. So we have Google who's dominating the whole search industry. This is the SERP heat map that we have taken from the latest research. So it shows that the green zone shows that where the user is looking at when they search for a product in the Google search engine. The green areas show that how do they look at a page, look at the Google search results. Yellow shows how do they move their cursor, and the red areas show that how do they click on the results that they see on a Google SERP. So you look at this, like if you are not in the first 10 or maybe first 5 or 6, you lose the relevance, and you become irrelevant. So it's very important for us to be on the first page if you want to grab the most attention from the customers. Second slide is about the so SEO and local SEO plays an important role. So the middle area here, I just missed it. So middle area here in the left side shows the this area shows the local SEO, and this shows the SEO part of it, and somewhere on the top shows the ads. So first 4 results would be ads, then the SEO and the local SEO, and the all the top 10 results. Next slide is about content marketing. So every organization has a goal for the content marketing, and based on the goal that you have, for example, is it brand awareness, it is customer retention, loyalty, is lead generation, is improving your website traffic, improving your sales. Now, so each organization has a goal, and we should also look at what is the goal for us, and we should create relevant content for it. So if you look at the left side data, if we have relevant pictures and videos as per the goal that we decide, we have seen better viewership of that. And if we similarly, if we maintain the blogs that we have for in the websites, Then if you maintain the weekly blog, if the content is fresh and we write really relevant content, then there's 76% jump on the time on site. And that's what we want from our customers. So creating relevant content is very important, not only for the engagement perspective, but also from the SEO perspective, because dynamic content that we talk about over here is the content that is seen by the Google. And how do you update that content every 2 months and 3 months by updating your meta tags, keywords, descriptions. And so if you do that regularly, it's like 86% traffic improvement that you will see by having that relevant content. So this is the SEM space. So SEM space, as Lauren was referring to the gray area, we were saying that something is allowed, something is not allowed, and something at the cross section of both circles, that is the gray area. This is like moving target. So if you look at the top 3 players in this slide, Mantis, Subside, and Canavu, they are the programmatic channels where everything is allowed and you can advertise. But if you look at the below channels, where we see the social channels and the search channels. So basically, web is ruled by the Google as a search engine, and the paid social is governed by Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. So this is something where we as a team work with our clients to understand, okay, what is something that is allowed by Facebook, what is something that is allowed by Instagram, Twitter, Google Ads, and Bing, and as a channel, how can we make our ads live? And it has been a very, I will say, it is very difficult journey for us to learn that what works and what does not work for each channel. And we have been very creative in maybe modifying our approach and maybe in finding some creative ways so that we can make our campaigns live for cannabis brands, for hemp and CBD brands as well. I will talk about some specific examples of the clients who we have worked with and the results that we have got by making their paid ads live. Then we see these 3 techniques are affiliate marketing, influencer marketing, and email marketing. So affiliate marketing is a very important piece of the whole digital marketing strategy, and it accounts from 15% of all digital media spend revenue, and also like almost more than 10% of the spend. And in the cannabis space, we are working with some of the companies like Rev Offers and Can Affiliate who offer the affiliate marketing services, and we help our clients by using their platform. Influencer marketing is also a very important piece of the digital marketing techniques, where we can use it by working with the influencers who are actually influencing the customers, and we work with them to write content for us and to write some of the information that is relevant for the customers via influencers. So that is also important piece of the marketing. Email marketing is I think that is a very important, plays a very important role when you want to reach to customers directly. And I think it also is a very like cheap medium in a way to get the cost, to get the customer acquisition, and get the sales. If you have a good newsletter subscription in your website, if you have good email list, I think you can constantly engage your customers by sending them emails, and you can also get the highest conversions for your business through email marketing. So our next piece in the agenda is talking about different success stories that we can talk about and see that how our digital marketing strategy has helped these clients to grow their business online, and how they have been able to build their business. So this is about one of the national dispensary client we have been working with for more than 2 years, and we were the fortunate ones to help them to launch their website, and we are also the ones, one of the few who launched their paid marketing as a campaign, and we saw these staggering results when we worked with them. So more than 132% increase in the users So we grew the company from we were one of the company who who grew 40,000 users to like more than 96,000 users in the organic. We've also worked on the local SEO where we were helping them to increase the traffic from like from 3.2 million, 320,000 to 1.2 million. And then we can see the paid impressions. So we generated more than 20 million impressions for the client when we ran a campaign for 52 weeks, and we spent around 6 figures to get these results. And that resulted into getting more than 99,000 orders for them, and it was like more than 100,000 clicks, more than 1 million clicks for the customer. CTR was more than 180% increase in CTR. So all these numbers show that how well versed our team is on the running campaigns for these dispensary clients. Then the next client is about a CBD e-commerce client we worked with, and the challenge for them was again to go live because Google does not allow to advertise any kind of CBD brand, and they also do not allow anybody who's into the sexual kind of products, and they had sexual products as well as the CBD products. So challenge was how to go live in the Google. So we created a kind of approach where like we worked on that gray area, like what is something that can work as a messaging on the paid media, and we used that approach, and we were lucky to go live, and we created these results for the customers, more than 3.7 million impressions, more than 29,000 clicks, and more than, so this is the data that is not reflected, but more than 1,000 orders I can say we created for the customers. Again, this is the online dispensary client that we have, is into the dispensary, online dispensary business and delivery business. And when we start the campaign, they are the ones who were not able to go live, and we thought that how can we go live on the paid media channels. So we made our campaigns live, and we were able to make it live, and we were able to spend money, and the returns in the ad spend was staggering. So you can see we got more than 900% return on ad spend for the customer. It is just because I think because we were we had a first mover advantage, and we were one of the first ones to go live, and we were the ones who dominated the paid space for the client. So the fourth slide you see is about one of the customer who was into retail for a CBD brand, and they had the in-house brand on the retail, and they also had the online e-commerce so our responsibility was to make the online campaigns live for them and manage the e-commerce for them. So we did the campaigns, and we were able to manage that very effectively. Whatever we generated as a revenue was 3 times of what we spent as a paid media spend for them. It was also a good learning experience in terms of how to take one offline brand to online and how to increase their e-commerce presence. So I think I will hand this over to again Lauren, that how to position your business to quickly respond to the e-market demands.
Right. Thanks, Varun. Yeah, so this digital marketing is all about really understanding your clients and your market, and to the best of your ability, understanding the trends and staying ahead. And I mean, what better example we have than this COVID-19 market, where a spike in demand, and we were able to help many of our clients to identify that demand and then respond. So again, as Varun had mentioned, these are talking about how to position your business. This isn't anything that's new, but there's certain nuances about the cannabis and the CBD product market that I wanted to just discuss with you around these points. So identifying your unique selling proposition, we work directly with clients to really help them understand, exactly how are they positioning themselves to their client, and then work with them on their ads, their banners, to help them differentiate themselves even from the competitors, to put their products forward in the best possible manner to really give the customers a great experience. And the customer value proposition, what is it that customers are looking for? Just as an example, in our recent market, we have a client with a hemp hand wash. So we recommended to put a campaign around that hemp hand wash because everybody's needing to wash their hands now. So we help them identify where is there really opportunity to focus on that one product and get clients to come in, customers to come in, buy that product, and they'll look at other products as well. And then the pricing strategies, looking at how to bundle products together, maybe like a care kit, or if there's a good price point that customers are going to be attracted to, like say $9.99, right? So we give all of these inputs and these suggestions to our clients, and then we try them out, right? So using the customer content to engage the customers, helping them with the messaging we put out there to really attract the customers, and what are the market trends. Enhancing the supply chain, so looking at maybe where the client might have too much supply, help them to have an ad campaign to sell some inventory that they want to move. Or on the flip side, what products are customers really wanting, and then help them to figure out, okay, how can they get more of that product and bring it in. And also with product line extensions, this is a really interesting area where we help clients play around with different ads, to see how one ad does against another, just to really test the market, so to speak, and then help them grow their product line around that market testing.
Yeah, absolutely, Lauren. So I would like to add one example here. Is so when we work with our different clients, and so the one thing we learned, for example, we ran a campaign and we see that a particular age group is performing well, for example, 45 to 65, and they may attract towards a particular product that may be a CBD pain cream because of the reason that they may want to use that more, and gender is my female. So we recommend to our clients to probably create more products and maybe extend the product line and maybe have more products that can reflect more towards that age group. And if we similarly see that age group 25 to 45, and if the different product appeals to them, that might suit to their needs, and that we see as a more sales. We always work with clients to maybe increase that product as a supply. So that is always a constant discussion that happens with our clients to that how can you position the business as overall to fulfill the demands from the online market.
So here we wanted to just share with you some data. This is for the cannabis market, seeing how there's expectation of cannabis market to grow in the coming years. So like I said earlier, it's a really good opportunity to be in this industry, in this sector, so to speak, on the ground floor to really help grow with this industry. And then these next two slides basically tell a story about the online channel for CBD products. So last year, the online channels were the second highest medium for the CBD product sales. And the first there, as you can see, is drugstores. And then the next slide shows in 3 years, the expectation is that the internet will be the #1 medium for CBD products. So this is really a good space to be in and a good space to be working to get sales. So now hand it over to Varun.
Okay, so so now before we jump to the like next slides, this is we have to understand that before we launch any campaign, especially for the cannabis, hemp or CBD brand, we need to know the best practices when we are doing that, because this is something it's like very we have to be very creative in terms of launching campaigns. So it's like we before we discuss for the best practices, we can show that how the business is growing in real time during COVID-19 situations. As Lauren was talking about more facts from the industry, that how the industry is going to grow from 2019 to 2022 for oral cannabis, as adult use marijuana, as the medical use marijuana, for CBD, how is it going to grow. But what we have seen this current COVID-19 situation is that businesses have that we're working with have grown multifold during these times. So I will just show you some real-time examples from our current clients. So first client we are talking about is the dispensary client, is the online dispensary, and they also have online order delivery service. So this is location 1. In California, and you can see the growth of last 9 weeks, and you can see that how the growth has been for them from the user. So we have to go from right to left if you want to see the growth. So right to left, if you look at the users, 7th week to the 15th week, you see the staggering growth of the users in this time. And if you look at the revenue, this has also grown consistently from 7th week to 15th week, and you can see the growth of the revenue from 50,000 to 100,000. This is a real-time example from our current client. Second client you can see is also a dispensary client that also have the online delivery service, and this is location 2. You can see that how users have grown exponentially from 7th week to 15th week, from right to left, like you can see from almost 1,500 users to they have gone to almost 3,500 users. So like there is a more than 200 to 300% growth. There's almost 300% growth that they have seen in this 9 weeks of period. And revenue wise, if you can see, they were having like at the revenue was at the bottom on the 9th and 10th week, but they have gone up by like more than $40,000 a week as a revenue. That is for just for the online orders that we're talking about. Third client in real time is one of the CBD e-commerce clients we're working with, and you can see the growth that has come for them consistently week over week from 7th to 15th of week, and then the revenue has also grown consistently for them. So this all examples show that how COVID-19 situation has been kind of a situation where the situation has have become better for them in terms of business. The next client is a very different client for us. It's not the e-commerce client, but it's a national dispensary brand, and they have dispensaries across the USA, maybe in multiple states. So their dispensaries vary from California to New York, New Jersey, Virginia, Pennsylvania, Delaware. So you can see the growth of the users week over week from 7th to 15th week from right to left. And you can see that how staggering has been the growth, especially for the New York. You can see that we have seen that COVID-19 has made one of the great impact in New York, and business for them has been like booming for them in that like 15th week. They can see like more than 5,000 users. So this is not only reflecting on online, but they are also reflecting on the foot traffic that is going to the dispensaries, and they are serving the customers on various locations. Each location has seen the growth. So it's like the one of the thing that I saw while working with these clients is that why they were able to meet the demand during the situation like COVID-19, because we have been working with them, like each client we are working with them is like the average time is like more than 6 months. And I think we spent first 3 months in building the basics for the client and building the digital marketing infrastructure when we started working with them. For example, working for the SEO, putting up the proper meta tags in place, putting up a proper SEO strategy in place, right, putting right content strategy in place, putting a right SEM marketing strategy in place, maybe writing for the Google ads and maybe working on the paid social ads, having programmatic advertisement strategy in place. So everything has been working well for them before the situation came in. So like we planned everything properly and we executed that. And when the situation like COVID-19 came, they were ready to accept that situation, and they were able to deliver accordingly. So I think the right thing for us as a business is to understand that we have to follow the best practices that we have used as a agency working with our clients. So I would like to share them with you also that you can use. So the first thing is, when you are using any kind of targeting, so avoid excessive targeting and use, so like we have to be very focused as per our business. For example, if you are having CBD products and you are specializing in some kind of industry that maybe sexual wellness, that can be maybe the health and wellness, it can be like general wellness. So you have to use that targeting that works for you, and we can't use like everything as a targeting, otherwise you'll just keep ending uh, like you'll end on spending money but not getting any customers. And there has to be a frequency caps that you have to put when you are running a campaign. So like for example, demand is higher on like from morning to afternoon, and then it goes down during the lunch, and it goes up during like in the evening hours. You have to see that when is the right time for us to show those ads, and what is the frequency of ads to show up when these are the uh, right timings for you to do that. So this is very important for us as a first step. And then you have to use the targeting to abide by state and city laws. So if you don't use like right kind of messaging on the ads, on the images, on the display banners, on the landing pages, that is approved by the state and city laws, you will end up not only getting your ad disapproved, but also maybe getting penalized by the state and city laws that may impact your company's legal position. So it is very important for us to use that age targeting. So never use anything that is like uh, below 21. So always go to the any kind of platform, maybe use 21 and above. Never use 18 plus kind of targeting for your campaigns. Also get involved in 2020 legalization campaigns so that you understand about that what is legal, what is not legal, what is the status of the laws that are changing by state, by federal, so that you are also able to update your strategy in the advertising. So this is very important for us to invest in the digital media campaign right now. And because right now, if you do that, then it will help you to differentiate from competitors, and it will also give a critical message to your audience that your business is evolving. And this is also a sign of growth, and that is something that we have to do. And so this is the right time because there are some less competition, there are less people who are advertising, there's less clutter. So probably I think you can find your niche and you can advertise by finding a right kind of strategy maybe in the place. So next thing is more like it's more deeper into the setting up your campaign. So it's like number one is like 8-39 cannabis interest targeting. So we are not only talking about the channels like Facebook or Google, we also talk about programmatic ads. So when you're using any programmatic channel and we're doing any programmatic ads, always use Peer 39 cannabis interest targeting so that you can safeguard your ads or your data of the customers that you get through the ad from the fraudulent kind of practices by the hackers. You can also avoid the spam websites that you may advertise to, because in programmatic, you always use the contextual targeting, and contextual targeting is based on the keywords that you choose, and you may end up spending money but not getting the right kind of return. So you always use PR39 as a targeting. And second is we have to segment our customers thoroughly and develop content specific to the needs and aspirations of each. As you talked about, for example, age wise, it can be a different content. 25 to 45 is different, 45 to 65 is different. So we have to use content very intelligently for each segment of customers we are targeting to. Geo-targeting has to be used very intelligently by state, city, and province laws. Basically, each channel has this capability of like targeting your customers based on the geo-targeting. So that's something gives you an ability to control your jurisdiction as per the laws that are there. Benchmarking and assessing performance regularly is very important. So benchmarking is based on the KPIs that you can choose before starting a campaign. For example, you're using a campaign that is run by using, that is for the sales, that is for the getting brand awareness, that is for getting leads. So put those benchmarks in place and assess the performance. And ensure the creative compliance of images or all exchanges. So never use any images that are freely available in the internet, and always look at the compliance by the state and federal laws and use that for the advertisements. So the next slide is again taken by the Lauren. I will hand it over to Lauren to discuss.
Thank you, Varun. So another thing that we take very seriously and is another component of really helping understand the market and getting ahead of trends is keeping your eyes and ears, and I want to say mind, open as well. So we keep track of the markets in terms of market intelligence around the hemp and the CBD, what's going on legally. And again, like Varun was saying about the advertisements, what's allowed, what's not allowed. And also around cannabis as well, because as you know, if you're in these industries, the regulations and the restrictions are constantly changing. So it's something that we consistently keep on top of for our clients. Here's some client testimonials just for you to take a look at, but I want to make sure that we have time for Q&A. I know there's in the chat, there's a question in the chat. So this was asked a while back when we were reviewing the channels. So is in terms of, yeah.
So I'll take this question, Lauren.
Yeah.
So the question is, do you think email or SMS marketing is more effective? So this is a very good question, and I think both channels you're talking about, email and SMS, are important from the marketing perspective. Email is very effective when you have the database of the customers that you have generated by your website, and they are subscribed to the newsletter, or they are the ones who came to the website, spend some time, and then you grab the email. Because when you reach out to those customers with maybe some offers or with some kind of news, and so they are the ones who know about your brand already, and they would like to engage with you in a much higher I will say interest, and they are the ones who convert very highly. And we have seen from our experience that the conversion rate for the email marketing is higher than the conversion rate for SEM campaign or the SEO campaign. So I think email marketing is plays a very important role in the overall scheme of digital marketing. SMS marketing has become a little, I will say, irrelevant in this during these times because this is more like people, if you reach out to someone without a context and without a personalization in that way, then this is something that customer won't respond to that. So the conversion rate would be very less, if you send, for example, 1,000 messages, I think conversion rate would not be as good as the 1,000 emails, or maybe I was spending that money on the SEM probably. So that is from our experience. So that is something I think we have seen from our past experiences. Laura, do you want to add something on that?
It also depends on the demographic as well, especially age group. So we see depending on the product and the ages that are interested in them. So for example, the 45 to 65 demographic is much more amenable to email than to SMS.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it has to be customized based on the business and age group.
Are there any other questions?
So we will send the recording of this to the everybody who has attended the webinar, so that you guys can take a reference of it when you are offline. And you can also visit us in our website, and you can also go through the LinkedIn profiles, and maybe we can interact more on the LinkedIn, and we can discuss something offline.
Well, thank you everyone for participating and stay safe.
All right, everybody, thank you very much for joining today's webinar. So we'll be coming up with more webinars in the coming weeks, and we will reach out to you guys to join us on those webinars. And the more topics that we're thinking about is we will touch base on for example, how can we advertise on for cannabis, because cannabis, CBD and hemp, these three are different industries, and they have different regulations for each other. So I think we can talk more on cannabis advertising separately, and CBD and hemp advertising as a separate topic. So we'll be working on more on these topics, and we'll reach out to you guys when we are ready, and we'll talk more about that.
And also let us know if there's any topics that would interest you, if you'd like us to talk about those. Thank you.
All right, everybody. Thank you very much for joining today. Bye for now.